management aspect of due diligence. So you're just trying to pivot back into doing something along those lines. But even with entry level, junior level, they're still looking for 3, 5 years experience plus
Yeah,
direct experience.
which is crazy, but they are.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, that's why I never worked for one of the big four accounting firms. 'Cause I'm like, dude, I don't want to travel. So I
Hmm.
understand. I'm like, I understand. So
Isn't
yeah,
that what you were trying to get me into?
yeah, but you young, man. I got you by a couple decades though, man.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Young PBO
Yeah, I was
might do
looking at
it.
it.
Yeah, young PBO might do it, man. I'm an old PBO now. Mm.
Yeah, I was looking at it. I mean, they actually there seems to be a lot of opportunity out there with the big four, but um, uh, uh, I mean that's kind of my issue is the traveling portion. I
It's
don't mind
brutal.
some travel, but I
Oh,
mean,
it's
like an
brutal.
80% travel is yeah, that's too
It's
much.
brutal, man. It's brutal.
Was
But
that
once
for
again,
this?
you don't need to do about 2 years, man. You can write your ticket, man. So
True,
You guys
true,
can
and
hear
that's
me?
what we were talking about
yeah,
before.
we can
Yes.
hear you,
All
Caesar.
right. Good morning, or look at me. Good morning. Good evening.
No, facts, man. I'm all over the place. I just woke up from a nap. That's all I tell you.
Uh-oh.
I'm tired, man.
Congrats, for the Sec Plus.
She did the
For the
SIP,
SIP,
Oh,
the
the
SIP
the
SIP.
Yeah, the
CIPP.
SIP. Yeah, the SIP.
privacy.
Okay.
She getting in that privacy game.
Hey,
Hmm.
congrats for that too.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I do a
Yep, and
little
then she's going to be my
privacy.
new tutor.
Yeah, I do
I'm
it.
still trying to wrap
I
my head
do
around it.
it. Yeah, I do a little privacy. I don't do a
It's
Mhm.
ton.
it seems like a good majority of it is just trying to memorize the
Hmm.
different
Hmm.
the details for it because you need to know a lot of the details.
Exactly, exactly. But the materials that you have, it should be good. As I said before, just take a lot, just a lot of those quiz, the practice exams. That's going to be really helpful. And focus
Yeah.
on California a lot. There were a lot of questions in
CCPA.
California, GDPR,
CCPA.
GLBA. They had questions on GLBA, lots of
That's fun.
those. Hmm.
I'm gonna do a
So,
video on GLBA. That's funny you brought that up. I was getting my video
mhm.
together for that.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I think last time we had discussed the finance a little bit, and that's where I think we cut off. What was it called? Like KYC or something?
Oh, you know your
Um,
customer. Hmm.
Oh yeah, know your
yeah,
customer. Where my man
yeah,
at?
and
He ain't here today.
yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
was yeah, I found a lot of that kind of interesting, to be honest. Doing
Hmm.
like a finance video based on a lot of that type of because there was that resource that we started going through that
Hmm.
was going through like the different acts and regulations
Mm-hmm.
that coincide with finance. I had never even heard about any of that before. Let's see.
There's a lot out there, man. There's a lot out.
Yeah. Well,
That's
and
what
that's what
it's.
I was surprised about,
Yeah,
as
that.
how much there is.
Oh yeah, because we were. I was somehow I got into the AML, anti
Oh
money
yeah, and for
laundering.
laundering. Yeah, that's in
Yeah,
there as well too. Hmm.
yeah, all that kind of rolls up in there.
Hmm.
So,
I think,
like,
what have you guys thought about in terms of AI safety as it relates to GRC? Because that's becoming a big thing now. The governance side of that as well as just,
mhm.
safety is big.
For us, all our companies just tell you don't use generative AI. So that's
Hmm.
kind of the companies I came from. That's usually what they say is
Hmm.
anything AI, you got to go through an AI board or go through the CISO to get it personally signed off on.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but like you said, it's something a little more, I guess, like a program or something.
yeah. You
I
don't
hear
know
about.
anything in terms of. Hmm.
Yeah, I like I said, NIST has got theirs. I was
Hmm.
reading through there because I was gonna maybe do a video on that. Just in
Hmm.
my everyday work, we just haven't dug into it
You have to. Okay, gotcha.
that deep. I've only think super big companies are really digging into it like that.
Hmm.
Most of
Hmm.
the small big companies said if you're gonna do it, you got to get it approved,
Proof. Hmm.
right? And we probably would do a risk assessment on it
Hmm.
because a lot of things is making sure when you put stuff in there, they're not going to use your intellectual
Exactly.
property and give it to other people, right? So,
Exactly. I think Slack was doing that. They came out that they were
yeah.
actually training their AI
Mhm.
models through Slack, which is another thing that people have to think about as well too. All
Yeah.
these, chat box that we're dropping information into, they're all being trained.
Oh yeah. That's the crazy part is
Mhm.
you training your competitors really.
Yep. Yep.
So that's kind of when we talk about what can you put in a generative bot, what can you not, then from a legal perspective, what's in that documentation to make sure they're not, like you said, stealing your stuff or reappropriating, and if they did, is how much can you sue them for and what's the cap on it?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, and I was reading about that a little bit for Slack because there was like a whole news thing going on around Slack because of their policies on utilizing the business information for their AI model. So let me see if I can find that article again.
I'm
Yeah,
sure I'm,
it's
I'm sure.
definitely something that's just going to become more and more popular. But
Yeah.
at
Mm-hmm.
least what I've seen is I mean, almost every business is using AI to some extent now,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's very important that obviously compliance and privacy and everything else gets accounted for that. I mean, at least like NIST put out their AI framework. Jack Scotts has done a couple videos on AI.
Mm-hmm.
I have a list of resources for AI compliance and assessment as
Mm-hmm.
well.
And there are a bunch of charities as well too that have certifications on AI audit, whether it's biased or not.
No, it's
Which
biased.
is, mhm,
It's
let me just
biased.
see. Oh,
Is
absolutely.
it?
Even how
Oh
it's
yeah.
trained, exactly.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
trained. I don't want to sound too crazy, but it's trained in a more woke way, which is
Yeah.
not advantageous as well too.
Yeah. So
Because it's reality is reality.
it's
So,
following the same thing as facial recognition. Hell. So
yeah.
that didn't go well, Chris. I'm just letting you know, man.
Mhm.
So
I see.
So Jack Scott a couple months ago, I'm trying to pull up the video now, had
Mhm.
done a thing with ACI Learning regarding AI ethics. Um, and she had discussed that on how they went through and they tested some of the different AI chatbots out there, like OpenAI and a few other ones, and it just proved on how biased that they were, that
Mhm.
the AIs were. And
Absolutely.
that's very concerning when like OpenAI, I don't know what their market share is, but I know it's huge.
that was huge.
Yeah.
And did you see what happened with OpenAI with all the senior members departing? And it
Oh,
was
Yeah.
majority of the risk, exactly, it was majority of the safety team as well too, that they're saying OpenAI is not even focusing on safety as much, they're really chasing the money, which
facts.
seems to be always the case anyway. Companies always
Yeah.
focus on the
Yeah.
money, but
Exactly. That is the
um
case for everything.
yeah,
Yeah. I was gonna say
but
that's
yeah,
usually the MO. So yeah. Go ahead.
exactly. But they're
That's
moving away from safety, which is alarming as well too, considering where we are. And I think they're also closer to AGI than we think they are.
So
Oh, I think they're already there. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I got a quick question. That link that you send, these are certificates for what? For AI?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So that's oh gosh, that is
For
a
humanity?
charity, exactly, a charity that focuses on AI, and they have certificates with regard to child. I can't say anything on YouTube because you're on YouTube, but the content, inappropriate content. So how to assess for that, how to assess, for fairness and bias. So different certifications to be an AI auditor. It's up and coming.
And would that be like GRC related type of
mm-hmm.
audits or?
Yeah.
Well,
I'll put it
it
on
would
a
for
GRC. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll
yeah,
put it.
yeah, no, of course, yeah. Go ahead. No, no, yeah, no, John is right with that. It would fall within that realm.
Yeah, because I see a whole bunch here. The
Mm-hmm.
So the GD, okay, yeah, that's
Yeah.
privacy.
Mm-hmm. And And there's some base certifications that you need to take to ensure that you actually understand what AI is, what it means. And then from there, you build on up into the different specific domains that would be interesting to you. So just an FYI, really.
And these are ones that you need to pay, or they're free? How
So
would
the
this work?
certification, to train for the certification, you don't pay, but to take the test, you have to pay. I'm not sure if the cost for that one, it might be like a small amount of money. And then this company also has certification, but the guy who has this company actually received a certification from For Humanity. So, you just have to play that to see how it works out. And this one here, but they have good articles. So I like to read the articles from this particular company. They have a nice little blog.
Hey, Chris, you wanna go to that link that she sent so you can see that?
Yeah, I was trying to find. Go ahead and pull this up. I was trying to find the video for that Jack Scott did on AI bias and fairness, but I'm not finding it on YouTube at least. Oh, maybe this is it.
Because you
I
might
think I
be
just
interested
found
in
it.
one of these, GDPR.
YouTube is biased. They're
Hey.
blocking you.
Yeah, it was not easy to find.
Oh, there's one here, Fundamentals of Independent Audit
Mhm,
of AI System,
mhm.
and then Risk Management Framework.
Okay, that's a good
all
one.
right.
Oh, it's not too, okay. I can put on one time speed. Let me save this to watch later.
I'm gonna go ahead and move this around. Let's see. I did finally find it.
I'll watch that after this.
How's your job search going, Kay?
Not great. So if you have any tips, let me know. You know what? Speaking of that too, John, I'm gonna share. Yeah, I'm gonna share
tough
my resume
market.
with you. Yeah, I'm gonna share my resume with you and just critique if you can.
I can't. That's
Provide
not
candid
my
feedback.
special. I can hook you up with people much better than me, but I can't. It's not one of my strong suits because my
But
resume
you can see.
sucks.
But you can.
Yeah. I look.
I see.
I look
Okay.
over it. I just don't want
Okay.
you to have high hopes.
No. Your feedback would be valuable. So.
I'll give it to you. I try to stay in my lane, okay? I'm old. I kind of know the things I do well, so I try to stay in my lane. So I know my strengths and weaknesses. So,
Hey,
because
Divyo, if you
I think I'm gonna have to pay somebody to do mine, Kay. So I actually been thinking about that myself.
Okay.
Go ahead, Caesar.
No, I wasn't asking. If you do have people that look at resume, let me know.
Okay, let me reach out to
Because
them.
pretty soon I'm gonna start going into the market myself, and yeah.
It's just a brutal market, man.
It is.
I can kind of play the numbers game because I got a lot of experience, but even with that, it was crazy. Because we talked. I'm trying to get a remote job, and they're actually decreasing the remote job.
Yeah,
So
that's hard. That is so
yeah.
hard now.
So I'm blessed I have one, so I can't complain. But it was brutal. It's brutal to get one. It's getting more brutal. It seemed like by the day.
All right, so now I'm catching up here. So what we were talking about is this the online courses that they have on the site?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, for the AI auditing and compliance and so forth.
Yeah, it's Kay, she on the cutting edge. I'm like, I try to once again stay in my lane. So I think it's definitely up and coming.
There's so much information that's coming out all the time for AI right now. Like it's still so much in the development work, which is kind of surprising because it's been out for so long. But I think a lot of the people I've talked to don't even really understand like how the AI really works. And I think that's what makes it difficult not only to use it, especially in business, but then to get into it.
Yeah, two is especially from a federal level, they always really lagging. So, like you said, so how are they betting it? I just think they're gonna look for certain AI certifications. It's kind of like FedRAMP. I think they're gonna be looking for the AI FedRAMP. So for somebody to validate and said it's good. And once again, Chris, I'm an elitist. I think all the big dogs gonna eat that up.
Which one
KPMG, Booz Allen, and all of those guys. Go ahead.
was there a particular one on here that you were looking at, Kay?
No, for this particular site, I tend to just read their blog posts. I find that informative.
I see.
But for the For Humanity, so the gentleman who runs this business actually has the For Humanity certifications, and then he decided to, of course, branch off and utilize that, leverage the information he learned from For Humanity to develop this. But For Humanity, I'm doing the baseline. I'm working on the baseline, so I'm going to figure out if I have time for it. To be honest with you, and just reprioritize.
You focusing on risk or privacy?
So it's a combination of both. Exactly. I like the intersection of both. So I'll see how that goes, how lucky I can get with it.
You looking for remote work, hybrid, or any?
At this point, I can't be too picky. Remote is always preferable, hybrid next, and then of course on-site.
Facts. Yeah, I took a nap at lunch today, so shout out to remote. Go ahead, Chris. Going back to you, man.
I was just going to say, I believe I've heard.
And John, I just shared it on LinkedIn too.
Okay.
I'm trying to look for the like if I click Chris, do me a favor. If you click in the risk management, like down there, isn't it ask for like a password?
Oh no, okay. So let me send you one that takes you directly there. Let me see.
Because I'm trying to read it. Is the green one at the bottom? If you scroll a little down.
Here, let me go to the home page here. Maybe.
No, you're in the right page. Just go a little down.
I'm ready for this 3-day weekend, man.
You and me both.
I'm struggling.
Click that one.
This green one?
Yep.
For the RMF?
Yep.
I ain't expert.
And boom, ask for a password.
Oh, I see.
Okay, no, it should be hold on a sec. It should
all of them
take you right now.
asking for passwords.
Okay.
That's the special one.
Let me get you to the right one here.
So I did
I would have to let them know
about the courses.
Oh, you did? Okay. I'll let them know as well too that it's asking for passwords to get there.
So risk management framework certification, is this what you were looking at, Caesar?
Yes, sir.
Log in as guest? Maybe.
Oh, there it is. Okay, perfect. Yeah, there it is. Okay.
So how did you do that?
Can you share that link?
I went to this. Yeah, I'll share this link here. And so this is an overview of their different certifications. And then it'll take you to a page that will allow you to sign in to register or continue as guest. And let me get these into YouTube here as well.
Are jobs even looking at that or even asking for that?
Not at all. But it's a good thing to have, I guess, in the future, as John was mentioning.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Would job pay attention to that?
Well, sometimes a lot of times in competition, if you even with somebody, you need kind of something to separate you. So that's kind of how I look at it. Even my 20 years, when I interview people, it's a few people to have that. So what's kind of separating me from the rest of the crowd for a senior management spot? Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
Especially if you try to pivot yourself towards like the AI side of it or try to specialize in something in particular. Yeah, it's just like if you're going for supply chain, like you've talked about, taking classes and courses and so forth on supply chain would still set you apart from others who wouldn't be able to show any of that.
I actually need to start looking for specific certifications or certificates specializing on supply chain, not risk, none of that stuff. Supply chain.
They got them.
Have you used Coursera?
No, I'm a Udemy guy. Go ahead, Caesar.
No, I have not.
Shout out to Udemy.
Yeah, try Coursera because you can get it free through the library. I think we talked about that several weeks ago.
My library doesn't work.
Yeah, Caesar's invalid in the library, man. They're gonna lock Caesar out the library. Caesar's invalid. I don't know why I think that's funny. Caesar's invalid.
No, I'm actually.
Yeah, and I haven't even had a library card in so many years.
Me
Yeah.
either.
But I want to give it a try.
I'm
Yeah, register
anti.
online. That's what I did. I just went and did a registration online. They accepted it. I think I just have to show them a utility bill or something to that effect for them to approve it.
Mhm.
Yeah, make sure you're
Mhm.
legit.
What is it called? Coursera?
Coursera.
Coursera. Mhm.
Yeah, I'm a Udemy guy. I don't know why I don't go to Coursera. There's not a reason why I don't. I just
Mhm.
you and every 3 months Udemy does a sale, so I just usually sign up for
Who
something.
you think is more, I
Mhm.
mean, I don't want to say reliable, but who will you think a job will take more serious?
I usually do mine off of I find people on YouTube I like, and usually they do a expanded course, usually on Udemy or Coursera. So that's
Mhm.
usually how I pick it. But I don't know really on that, Caesar.
I I don't think that it like there's a lot of like larger names for it, like there's Cybrary, there's
Yeah,
uh what is that other one, Pearson?
yep.
Uh
Pearson's huge.
yeah, yeah, Pearson is
Pearson?
really big.
Yeah,
I never
Yeah,
heard of that.
and so I noticed that they are pretty big for like internal education, like as a employee benefit, like here you guys get
hmm
access to this.
Mhm.
yep. I did at my last
Can
job.
can you
We
guys
got
send a
Pearson.
link for that? You said Pearson?
hmm
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now.
Usually, if you do on-site certifications, especially from AWS, most of the sites are Pearson run sites too.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing Coursera right here, right now. I'm gonna send the link, but it is really what I'm going for. But it's actually kind of interesting because I never thought of even going to
Check
Coursera for this.
check Udemy too. Udemy. I'm a Udemy. I'm on
Yeah, I've
Udemy.
been doing. You know how many Udemy stuff I have?
That's
A
true. We
lot.
were talking about that because he was showing those free courses we could get on that one.
Yeah, I actually finished today. Actually, I was almost done. I just prefer to finish it today. The social awareness, like tutoring or awareness classes for inside a business.
Okay.
Hmm.
Uh,
I finished those.
Caesar, I'm looking at supply chain on Udemy. They got a few courses out there on
I'm
Udemy.
gonna let me
And
see.
they're having a
Supply.
sale right now. It's usually $94. You can get it for $9.99.
No, no, no. Oh, the supply chain fundamental understanding the basics.
Yeah, and when
Uh,
it comes down to things like Udemy,
yeah,
for an example, I think it more depends on what you learn from it, and then even
facts,
who you learn it from.
facts.
So it's that knowledge that, if you're
Excuse me.
if especially if you're going to put something on like your resume, and you want to be able to talk on that topic. So, like you could go through Udemy, learn a bunch of the supply chain, and then you could, put like, supply chain courses, on Udemy, and then link to
Oh,
a
a whole
page
bunch of
that shows,
courses.
the six, yeah, or something.
Gotcha.
LinkedIn
Uh,
Yeah.
also, if you take a course through Coursera, they actually link the completion or certification to your LinkedIn profile. So
yeah,
that might actually be better as well to just take it through Coursera because it directly links to your LinkedIn profile once you complete with the course.
And something that I'm seeing is Udemy is basically and I'm very used to everything that I mostly do is through Udemy. I use Cyberly as well, so I can talk about Cyberly too. Coursera never done it, but I'm seeing Coursera courses are basically they talk about months or weeks. They don't talk about hours. Like there's a course right here that I sent. It's called Supply Chain Management. That's 3 to 6 months.
And those are just timelines in terms of do you do it an hour a day or can you put it at 1.5 speed and you're done with it in no time. So it really is
Wish I
just
could do.
based on the hours that you're putting into it.
yeah. Because I'm doing Power BI, so yeah, I
Mhm.
listen to that 1.5.
Yeah, exactly. I can't do any less than
Yeah.
those.
Yeah, and I don't stick with one. I'll
Mhm.
swap between them. So like I've worked with Coursera before. I think I did some of the stuff on like Pluralsight there. Cyber I signed up for early on actually. Um, and then like recently it's just been a lot of like the LinkedIn learning. And
Mhm.
so I'll just
I've been
kind of
seeing a
move
lot of people
around with
doing
it.
that. I've been seeing a lot of people do LinkedIn Learning, to be honest with you. It's just you need to pay for that. That's like $30 a
Well,
month.
most companies go through LinkedIn Learning. I don't know why. Every company I've worked for we had LinkedIn learning training. So I don't know if it's more a corporate thing. I think a lot of people going through their companies.
think it's just because it's easier for the company, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I think too
well,
is
and
they got that company feel too. I think they're reaching out to companies, giving them, mass discounts if you sign up multiple people in your company. I don't think Udemy them are focusing on that. I think Udemy has it. I just don't think they're focusing on large companies like LinkedIn does.
yeah, and Udemy has a different model.
Facts, facts,
I don't think Udemy really has like the quality control or otherwise. Like
facts.
it seems like a lot, pretty much anybody could publish on Udemy if they wanted to.
Wow,
Which is
that was a shot. Go ahead. I'm just playing.
well, that's what it seems like.
This is
I've
just so
yeah,
hard on the people. Go ahead.
well, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, they have a lot of different information on there. But there are some of the different courses that I've gotten through there that just weren't very high quality. Like
Facts.
even more recently published ones where, like there was an Excel one that I had signed up for, and it was like a discount sale. So I think it was normally like, I don't know, $30 or something, and it was like half off or something. And you just got to get the value out of it. And
Mhm.
it was like very, very basic information. But I mean, that also depends on, who you go with through Udemy. I think that's why I personally prefer to go through like the actual training providers like Pluralsight, Coursera,
Mhm. Mhm.
LinkedIn Learning. So,
True.
Oh, I see what it says here. I went into the logistics on like supply chain management specialist. It says 1 month at 10 hours. So if I do 10 hours a week, that I do way more, I can finish in less than a month.
Mm-hmm.
Facts, facts. And we know you do way more,
Mm-hmm.
Caesar. You beyond.
Yeah, I just don't have the time to do this right now, but probably like in the next month or so, I can probably do it. Or
Mm-hmm.
maybe
for
month,
which
two
one?
months. I'll send a link. It's gonna be for the supply chain. Because I mean, yeah, you and me, we've been talking. I want to do third party supply chain. That's what
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm
wow.
looking to do. Third party risk management and supply
Pluralsight has
chain.
quite a few.
Does it?
Yeah, so I just looked up
Oh, these are the guys that we were
supply
talking
chain.
about.
Yeah, so Pluralsight,
This is the first time
I
I even
kind of
heard them.
feel like yeah, I kind of feel like they're more of a premium.
Yeah.
Um,
I said
but
the
Premium because of what? Because of the payment? Because they're gonna be more expensive, or just because of the
well,
uh
I think they're more expensive, but also just the quality of it, to be honest
yeah.
with you. Like they put out some really good content. Um, so let's see here. Wow, that delayed for a second. Yeah, so like the standard's $29, but see that, you get access to their, limited library of 5,000 courses. So $45 a month if you were to go for their premium plan.
and
And that's on a monthly.
what's the difference between premium and the normal?
You get more than 2,000 full library access. And then you also get hands-on content and coding projects. And then you also get certification exam prep. So that's probably like their certification courses, like for the Sec Plus or,
Hmm.
you know, whatever other ones that they have. I don't know what other ones they have here.
Let me see. How can supply chain?
Yeah, and so I
Uh,
just searched up supply chain, and so they have not only a risk management and governance
how
section
you
that would
got
cover
there?
part of that. I just hit the search icon here and searched.
Let me see.
That's in the navigation bar here. But then they also have individual courses down here too. Concepts and principles for the CISSP, 4-hour video or course there.
Oh, I see it here. Risk management and governance.
Hardening your software for supply chain. What do they mean by soft software?
Where you at? Highlight.
Oh, let's see.
Would that be like the what's inside the computer, I guess?
I honestly don't know.
See if they got a
I don't know
syllabus.
what they mean.
They got a syllabus,
Yeah,
table of
that's what I'm
contents.
thinking.
Yeah, you headed to the right. Like
Yeah.
for me, just thinking off the cuff, if you look at the STIGs, they tell you how to harden your DevOps, your software, OWASP top 10, right? Make sure you validate so you don't get cross-site scripting, cross-site settings. So, and two is like we talked about, Chris, just doing a risk assessment on all your vendors that's in your supply chain.
So I just looked it up. Yeah, and so it says so soft software typically describes something that's capable of being changed or modified easily within software.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
the term soft is non-physical component of your computer that's easy to change. For instance, individual programs
Mhm.
can be installed and uninstalled without much difficulty.
Mobile code, that's what we call it.
It
Yeah,
JavaScript.
relates to your open source tools, usually.
Yep. Yep.
What's up, man?
I see.
What's up, man? Yeah, Java code, mobile code, JavaScript, a lot of stuff you just
That makes
download.
sense.
So for us, you just got to sign it, right? So if it's not signed, then you shouldn't be using it. Then you can check it if it was signed.
But yeah, 54 courses on here for you, Caesar.
Yeah, I'm gonna because basically it says risk management and governance. That's the one that I'm seeing right now.
You on plural? Like I said, I use like every blue moon.
Well,
One of the companies I work for gave us plural status. Part of a
yeah, and
corporate
I
company.
think it really depends on what you already have access to.
Mhm.
Like I said, I usually just use like one at a time because I have a hard enough time jumping between different
Oh my
topics.
God. Yeah.
And you know, that's also where like the cost comes in, you know, is you know, if you're not going to use it, then you know, why pay for it? And like LinkedIn Learning, like I had mentioned, is there you have a supply chain through there that a really good course on it actually. So I don't think you necessarily have to go with something like Pluralsight, but you know, there are options out there. You know, like this risk management and governance. I mean, they have that kind of content on LinkedIn Learning or Coursera.
Yeah. I gotta cancel my LinkedIn Learning. I don't know why I've got it. So I get renewed every month for $34 and I don't even use it anymore. So
Yeah, I ended up getting the LinkedIn Learning again because they have uh
that one guy for the CISPs on there. I probably
yeah, that's why
what's
I
his
ended up
name?
joining again.
What's his name? You
I'm
said his
I'm
name.
trying to think about it. I'm pulling it
Oh
up again.
God. Chapel, Chapel,
Yeah.
Chapel, Chapel
Yeah,
me?
Michael. Yeah, Michael Chappell.
Chapel.
Cert Mike.
Yeah.
Yes, Cert Mike. Mhm.
Yeah, he's pretty good. So I probably keep it because
Mhm.
I, I gotta get this CISP. Because on senior
Yeah, and they have a
positions,
lot of
I think they're using
things
that
through it.
as kind of the bar now with senior positions for remote work.
Oh yeah, he does have a 4 weeks ago he did a course on it. Let me go ahead and throw that over here.
With Chapel,
So yeah, so right here, 4 weeks ago. The
tell you,
2024 CISSP cert prep
I'm so
from Mike
mad.
Chappell.
I'm so mad. I'm still depressed when you tell me that, Chris.
And
I'm not
and
gonna
who
lie.
and
It's
who's
only 21 hours
and who's that guy?
PBO.
Well, no,
Uh,
account instructor. I think he's from Notre Dame. I think he's an instructor at Notre Dame, if I remember correctly.
he's pretty
Yeah,
popular. So
yeah.
certmike.com and you know, there he writes books and provides content for all kinds of different certifications.
He's pretty good.
Um,
I enjoyed his LinkedIn on CISP.
What they have there for supply chain?
for supply chain.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was one that I took in particular that I thought was good.
it was only like an
Um,
hour. That's what I'm saying.
well, and
Like,
a
how
large
much?
majority, well, a large majority of it is learning. Um, you know, that like it's the knowledge that you get from it, not necessarily anything else. Like there's not going to be anything like even if you went through and did a 6 hour course on here, like, you know, that's 6 hours more than somebody else has on it. Like none of it's going to go off and get you a job. But if you went through and worked on these different supply chains, you're going to learn way more about supply chain. Yeah, so this is the one I did, and it's only an hour and a half long. I learned a lot from it. So like this hour and a half long supply chain fundamentals, risk and resilience. It's not something that's going to get me a job because of it, but I mean I didn't look at a lot of different things from that angle before.
What
That's what
did
I
you
found
learn
really
from it,
interesting about.
Chris?
Yes, yeah, I did learn from it.
No.
I
What
thought
did
it
you
was pretty
learn? Can
interesting.
you summarize it?
Yeah, so one of the biggest parts is like the different perspective. So
Mhm.
looking at it from a risk management position in supply chain, they talked about like a spider web effect. When you have a supply chain and one person is affected, it can amplify it to other parts of the supply chain or people that are in the process as well. That's a perspective I never even considered or thought about. And then
Okay.
another portion that they talked about too is, and it's a type of
Application
amplification.
or
So
Amplification, yeah.
like amplify, getting it bigger,
Yeah.
yeah,
broad.
and for somebody with no experience before, like that's why it just gave me way more perspective on it. And then there was also another thing that they had discussed in pretty good depth regarding um, like when you work with supply chain and you have to, the other part of amplification is so when somebody is affected negatively, that can affect other portions of it as well in the chain. But the physical items, when you're working with physical items themselves, if you order 1,000 pieces of this item from one company, well, then they're probably ordering 1,500 items from their supplier, and then their supplier's supplier is, ordering 2,000 from that person, just so that way they could stay ahead. And so it talked about like on larger scale supply chain on how you have to actually keep that in mind as well. And how that puts more strain on the system itself. And so having more of a realistic viewpoint on that, because like the whole point of, supply chain risk is to, minimize the strain of the system and just keep it working to the extent that you need it. So
But were you looking at it within a business perspective or like a cybersecurity perspective when you were doing the course?
So I was looking at it more from a business perspective, but it talks about the different risks involved with it, um, which I had never looked at before. Not really.
No, that's pretty good because it gives a lot of insight. And for someone like Caesar who wants to get into supply chain, he's gonna understand things as well, right? So
Mhm.
Caesar ask questions. Chris is like way beyond us. He's gonna take over from you
Facts.
as the CISO man.
Facts.
AI. I'll make an AI bot for it. I was
Shout out to
hoping
that.
that there would be um like an overview. Oh, yeah. So like here's the content over here. Yeah, just identifying, analyze, evaluate. And the point that I was trying to make there, Caesar, is that it's only an hour and a half long, but I mean, I learned a number of different things from it.
Hmm.
So
That's fair enough.
yeah, and then I went through and did it so that way, because now there's the CIPP from Mike that he has as well. But they have a lot of different things on here. Another thing that I was looking at, let's
Man,
see. So
you're actually doing this, right? That's one of your job things now?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, supply chain.
Not supply chain, it's third party risk management or supply chain risk management, but within the context of security.
Gotcha. So you need to do what? 61, right?
Um, 161,
Yeah.
171, I think. Yeah.
No,
The
171 is
document that I
CMMC.
actually,
So 61.
the
Level
document that
7.
I shared with you the other day.
I think it was
Yeah,
61.
161. Yeah.
Yeah, once again,
The
yeah,
Yeah.
because
161.
71 is CMMC. Okay. Trust me, I'm on it. I know you and I, we talked. It's just I'm concentrating this Sec Plus, and then I got a couple more things I need to do. So
Nah, man, I believe in you. Take your time, learn things, but be curious, ask questions, because if you don't ask questions, that means that you're not learning anything. You're not going to the core of the problem that the business wants to fix. Um, I'm very thankful to Prof here as well, because it's a lot of back and forth when I ask him questions. I'm not an expert in any sort of way. PBO is much more experienced. Um, but when you discuss things with other people, then you understand what's going on in other businesses as well. So I work in retail, I've worked in finance as well. But Prof here, he's working for the government. That makes a difference, right? What the government is doing and what a private company is doing, it's sort of different. So ask questions. It makes it easier for everyone to learn. And very thankful to Mr. Chris as well, that he shared his knowledge with that course that he did. So you learn the business perspective as well.
yeah,
Yeah,
I started reading the book Supply Chains for Dummies. It's kind of interesting.
and two
Well, it's
is
perfect for both you and me. We are both
right there.
dummies.
I'm right there. I'm right there. But two, as you get into industries and men spinning that out, when you're in retail and you add the domain of retail to cybersecurity, I used to do a lot of IRS work, and I still do IRS work. So that's kind of my domain specialty. So I try to tell people get a domain specialty to go with your other skills. So you can kind of dominate that business industry or government industry. So
I've been sitting down and just of what I think is supply chain, looking like for Costco, Sam's, Walmart, those type of stores, even Amazon,
Mhm.
for supply chain. It just I don't see I don't know if I'm asking the right questions for this or putting the right name, because obviously I've been noticing all these positions within cybersecurity have 10,000 names for one single thing, but
Mhm.
I'm not finding anything. Today I was even looking into the city to work for all the cities nearby me,
Mhm.
for the electric or water or anything, just so I can because probably like in the next month and a half, I'm gonna start going into the market.
Mhm. Mhm.
I think you have to change your perspective a little bit when it comes to security risk within supply chain, right? So if you're looking at Amazon as a supply chain company that ships things out,
Hmm.
it's not the shipping cycle itself that you might have to worry about. It's the underlying system that's actually running the supply chain. So whether it would be servers, it would be um, the vendors that we have actually hired to do our delivery, things like that. It's not the company itself, it's the systems that are running it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I can elaborate on it.
systems or when you mean systems, you're talking about people as well.
Yeah, exactly. So it's roles and responsibilities. That's the first thing. That's always going to be the first thing. But let's say that you got a supply chain system that have
Hmm.
5 or 6 different servers that are running in the background, right? One of the server or two of the servers, they have sensitive data. So you have to send those details, like the shipping details, date of births, addresses, email addresses, phone numbers, to a particular system that grabs all those details. And then the supply chain company goes, okay, yeah, this package came in. I have to send this package to this particular address. But for us as cybersecurity people, that's PII, right? We have to protect it. That's our job to protect. Or maybe in terms of CIA, the availability part that we have to work on. So if a server that's running our supply chain system, we have to have backups for those.
Exactly.
That's part of
Some
security as well.
correct. I
Mhm.
mean, and if we talk about vendors, we need to have a backup vendor just in case if I get my let's say bread from you for some reason something messes up in your system, I need to talk to PBO to he can supply it. Sometimes I'm gonna have to pay
Exactly.
PBO monthly, but at that point I'll just take it like insurance money. I'm not getting nothing from him, but is ensuring me as a company that I'm still going to be having the bread from you or him. It
Yeah,
depends.
exactly.
If it breaks from you, PBO will back me up, and then I'll just go back to you at that
It's,
point.
it's called a
Yeah.
reciprocal agreement. I actually did one for a candy company in Chicago, which was interesting.
Hmm.
Long story short is they reached out to me. I was helping do a DR, and the reason they needed a DR, business continuity, is they took a $5 million loan from the bank, and the bank was like, "Okay, if your building burns down, how are we gonna get our money?" Basically, so like you said, they had different competitors, so they could share the line. They wasn't in competition, but they could run their candy at the midnight shift. So how would they continue to generate money to pay back this $5 million loan? So it's called a reciprocal agreement. So
Hmm. And they usually, with the supply chain stuff, they like when someone like Prof or I get a contract, we have to actually understand the SLA stuff as well. And if they're breaching the SLA and it's creating a problem for our business continuity, we will actually put a clause in the contract that if you breach this, you have to pay us for like failing our business continuity. That's part of supply chain security as well.
or I was on a call before I took this job, and it was our vendor was only working in one region inside AWS, which I thought was crazy. I'm like, why don't we just fell over to a different region? But for the cost, and the business said they would accept that risk for running in one region. So, like Min said, you have to work with the business owners to see if they want to accept that risk. So,
Mm.
but Amazon in one region, they had 6 data centers in, I think, West. So the odds of 6 data centers 100 miles apart all going down at the same time is rare. So.
Hopefully, yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
they
I
would
find
do
that
it,
part.
but they would do it, but they just gonna charge you a lot more money. So right, so now risk the
Oh yeah,
money, right? So if they, I just thought it was weird because filling over regions in AWS is super easy to set up. So I just thought that was weird. But like Min
yeah.
said, you got to get those risks and kind of write those up, and the business owners will make that decision.
Yeah, I find it interesting because I think, at least with what I've looked at so far, is that I think supply chain is leans even further over onto the business side of things,
Yeah.
from the GRC standpoint, just because then you're working with the people who make your business operate, and there's special agreements between them. Oh, we need, under our contract, you supply this much to us, or these items and so forth. I don't know what it would be called, but like um a service agreement, like almost like an availability uptime agreement. Um
That's usually
I think it's
SLA,
called
like
a SLA,
SLA.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that SLA, but there's for bigger companies, there's different type of agreements. Like you got a master service agreement, and there it's going to talk about your SLAs, your downtime. If your downtime exceeds, 4 nines, how much you gonna pay us back, or do we get credits? So I've seen them really dig into that 4 nines, 5 nines, 6 nines.
Well, and so that would also be where we would work closely with like the legal team too, wouldn't it?
Oh
So
yeah,
if we
they
are,
running that. They running that.
yeah, risk management side of it, and then working with the legal team as well to make sure that that stuff is implemented. Um, would that be something that they would actually look like if the company had somebody for supply chain risk management? Would the legal team have the risk management for the supply chain review that document?
It was split it up when I seen it for big companies, like we talked about. I would do the security, cloud, like you talked about DR. They would do the legal part, which, like you said, is run over the SLA times. They call them clawbacks. How much you gonna pay us if we're down? If we get breached, can we sue you? Do you owe us money? Right? All those are legal terms,
Yeah.
right? But there's a security part, like Min said, is are you in more than one region? How many data centers in that region? What kind of disk and database? RT on RPO? How much How much data can you lose or you want to lose, right? You can go to no data, it's just gonna cost you more money, right? So from a security architecture standpoint, that's where the architect can come in. Okay, what type of database? What's the RPO? What's the return operations? Right? The business is going to give you those times, but then you got to work with the security team, the security architecture team to make sure those databases can handle that type of uptime.
And I would also add to it that not most of the organizations are as mature as where Prof is working.
Facts.
So don't be scared when you actually get to the job.
100%.
Don't run
100%.
away.
No.
I,
The cool
I'm so
thing though, like men said, you can drive most of that because most people won't really understand what that is. So you get to drive that really from security, and even a lot of IT people don't even think about that.
Yeah, I'm going to share this link too. So I was looking on this website for humanity as well, because we didn't really go into too much depth on that, but I wanted to drop this in too. This is like their risk foundations, and there's actually some pretty interesting information in here, and they have some wonderful diagrams. So they have a template here as well. So the different templates for it. I think it's kind of interesting. I'm going to look into it.
Okay.
You still going to focus on that supply chain, Caesar?
yeah, I'm going for supply chain third party. I understand there's two different type of things, but it's two different type of positions, but they mix in together either way.
I'll lump them together. Unless you're working for a big company, they're gonna lump those together. Chime in on that, man.
Yeah, that's actually
If you think I'm wrong.
No. I think you're absolutely right. It's
So
gonna be
basically,
together.
third party risk, that's honestly how I thought it from the get-go. Third party risk will be doing supply chain. Like for an example, Walmart here in the United States. If you do third party risk, obviously you're working with other companies that supply Walmart, but I think you'll do
Caesar.
supply too as well.
You're right, and I'm not. I don't want to be the Chris of this conversation. Marmark is one of the biggest companies on the planet, man. So their supply chain gonna be much different than anybody else.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean,
So,
we can
yeah.
choose. Shoot
So
any
when
McDonald's.
I
It don't
do,
matter.
so usually when I do supply chain from a state, it's us working with AWS and another vendor with an API call, right? Maybe get some boxes and some paper, right? You talk about Amazon and those companies, man, they get stuff from China, putting it on a boat, putting it on blockchain, right? That's a different level. Kay, I don't like your one pager yet. So I'm looking at it right now, Kay. I don't like your one page. I'm just throwing that out.
I'm even
Okay, people told me to keep staying at one page, but we'll talk after. We'll talk.
Yeah. I'm gonna chop it up and send it to you. I'm old, okay. I told you to say my strong suit. I'm just throwing out there.
That's a question I'm gonna ask. But basically here, before I forget, I'm even looking to apply even for the beer company because I know here in Austin they have Bud Light is here, Coke.
Oh, those are huge.
Yeah, I'm just because I hear everybody. It's very intimidating. Even her, she says it's brutal. It's like the industry right now is brutal.
Oh, it is brutal. It was brutal for me. I just did a numbers game. I applied 3 jobs every day, and it took me
Chris
probably.
wants to say something. Chris is waiting to say something.
Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in on there because like I don't think that you should, just solely focus on the specialty. Like the big thing is getting into the industry, into something to get the experience or otherwise. And I just want to make sure that you don't sit around waiting for a supply chain to come your way. You're most likely going to have to actually pivot into supply chain more than likely, based on what I've seen.
Okay.
Facts.
Yeah. It's like
get in the door first. Then you can
it was like I was talking to Chris earlier. It's just I'm even gonna start for basically realtor.com, right? If you go to realtor.com and you buy a house, you're usually gonna go to online and search them up. I used to work for them, but in the sales department. So I know hands-on like I guess they're directors now, managers, senior directors. And this is a minute. I haven't talking to them probably like for 3 years, so I don't want to make it awkward. It's like, hey, I'm hitting you up because I want a spot. but
Why
I
not?
I just it looks kind of it looks kind of awkward,
No,
but
I think you're overthinking it, man, but I hear you.
I'm actually gonna go right ahead and send them and then send them a message. Actually, not one. I'm gonna send probably even a recruiter I know in there
Oh yeah.
to see if they're hiring for that. They will love me to go back, but I don't want to do no sales.
See, when
Um,
I was looking, and I'm old I just reached out to people, said I'm looking, and this one lady, she was VP for a big company. She said, "Go on the website, anything you like, just send it to me, and I recommend it." Sometimes you just gotta be forward, man. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm a curmudgeon, man. That's what I wanted, and
Well,
we were cool. So I just reached out and said, "Hey, this is what I'm doing. I know I'm gonna be released in a couple months." So she just said, "Go on the website, find something to get, send it to me." So
well, and
okay.
like another thing that I've seen is like I was just looking on their website here,
A realtor?
especially their career section. Yeah, and so like I don't even see anything um as
About
far as
site.
like yeah, so I looked for risk here. Um, but then also you have to consider the fact that they may outsource their IT or their risk management too,
When I
or they
was
may have
there,
some a smaller team for
wh-
auditors.
when I was there, they definitely had an IT
yeah, but
in-house.
but risk and compliance is a little different.
Yeah, it's a little different. I don't
It's
know.
a little
I don't know
different.
if they had that, to be
Ye-
honest with you. Or maybe
Because
the IT did that, honestly. Or maybe
probably,
IT did that
well,
too.
probably, I think they did at that level. Because we had this discussion before, and once again, this is just kind of my bias. I go for jobs I know have federal compliance because then I know they have to do it, right? If you a hospital, you have to do HIPAA. You taking credit cards, you have to do PCI, right? So they kind of force you to have those departments, unless you go to outsource it, like Chris said.
I was
yeah,
even
I would
thinking
find
of
it more
doing.
likely that they would outsource.
Okay. I was even thinking of doing hospital. That's why I asked the question about last time. What you think about the hospitals? And you guys says,
That's
there's not a lot of money.
But that's where I think that's where you should start, man. That pivot, because that'll get you experience, man. I tell people to go for the state. I mean, Chris had this conversation. I tell them go to the state. You're gonna make a little less, easier to get in. A lot of times, state because they get a discount because they're state government. They got all the best tools: Archer, Cisco, web pages for compliance. So they usually have a lot of the best tools.
And just go where you actually get the job. Don't be picky.
Facts for
You're
your
not
first
in a
one.
position to be picky, man.
Get it.
Seriously.
That was yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to say is that,
Yeah,
you
men
know,
is kind of mean, ain't
break
it,
in.
man? Go
Yeah, yeah,
ahead.
taking my thunder here.
Yeah.
Shout out to man. He be
No, like I'm being very honest.
no, you right,
Once
you
you
right.
get into the industry, then you can go ahead and try to find some other jobs that might suit you. And that would be like a 1 year sacrifice. You're already
Yeah,
sacrificing, you're going around, you're providing for your family, you're doing Uber. But that 1 year of sacrifice is gonna help you for the next 15, 20 years.
I can vouch for that, man. Long story
Yeah.
short, when I first went to DOD, and she said it's a 6 months contract, but it's 95% chance you're gonna get extended. Right. So I actually just went. Then 11 years later, I was leaving.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have the ability to do it as well, man. You got the
Facts,
right attitude, you
facts.
good person to speak to. So
Yeah.
that makes it easier when it comes to risk management, to be honest.
And everybody here is gonna help you, man. We got your back.
Yeah,
Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
100%.
Yeah, and on
Then you
this
can get me a
link
job
that
in LinkedIn.
Shout out to
Sorry.
LinkedIn.
You know I'm doing a challenge for 100 days, right?
How's that going? I remember you
It
mentioning it.
is it's going pretty good. I'm at on Monday. I'm
36.
no yeah on Monday I'm gonna be 39 or 40 or whatever
Oh wow. Shout
on
out.
Monday. So yeah. So
I want to hear from Chris. I think he has a lot of things inside today he wants to talk about. How is your cyber
Mimin
journey going, my friend?
Mimin likes instigating.
Oh
Uh,
no, I got nothing to share really. I'm just finding these resources interesting. So like this Babel that Kay had shared for their blog. I found this actually looks pretty interesting. Like PBO, you might want to take a closer look at this one because like they have more in-depth articles related to like here's one for the Colorado Comprehensive AI Regulation.
That's Kay.
They have a history here, and
Kay needs to start her YouTube channel. Go ahead, Chris.
yeah, like this is actually pretty interesting.
She needs to start
the
her
blog
AI.
is pretty good.
Yeah, she needs to start her AI YouTube channel.
Let's see. Yeah, I want to drop that in here as well. Oh, I did already drop it there. Oh well. And then the only other thing that I had to share was this AI bias and fairness and artificial intelligence. So this is through IT Pro, ACI Learning, and they had Jack Scott's come up. So Jack Scott's through Outpost Gray, which is associated with Simply Cyber. But she did this entire video, so almost an hour long, talking all about AI bias and fairness.
Did you like it?
Oh yeah, this was a great video. Lots of really good information.
You drop it in the chat. You dropped that one in the chat, didn't you?
I think I did, but I'll go ahead and drop it again.
I might do a response
really
video to it. I might do a response video to it and just be negative.
Yeah. I mean, that's right up your alley.
Shout out to me.
PBO trying to pick a fight with other people now.
Oh, I do that. Chris see me doing
controversial compliance person.
Chris see me doing
how else are you supposed to get views?
Well, I was telling Jax that I thought CMC was a little light compared to 800-53, so I'm not scared of the fight. But
go after China, man. Go after China. Everyone gets views if they talk about China. To be honest,
and they might come back. Man. They might come back.
So. That's a bad joke. Yeah.
Well, we wouldn't find PBO for weeks if we go after China.
Yeah, no, I'll be careful who I pick on, man. I understand it.
Yeah. How's the job search going, Chris?
Oh, I'm not even actively looking. I haven't been actively applying at all.
Why not?
Upskill.
Huh?
How much do you want to fucking upskill, man?
Well, it's important to do the job right, not,
That's incorrect.
That I can do it.
That's incorrect, man. We're gonna try you, man. People
look at me, okay? Look at me. Look at me. I'm on video. The companies aren't even doing everything right. Why do you want to do it?
Yeah, tell them, man. That's real talk.
You had to see his face for that.
That's real talk. Me and talk about that a lot, man. You surprised how many people. Most companies aren't mature, Chris. I think you overthinking it. I think you get out a lot of value. I don't think you. What you got? Imposter syndrome.
Problem.
What's wrong with you, man? You got imposter syndrome.
No, it's not even an imposter syndrome.
What's going on, man?
Primarily, there's just not that many remote positions in the first place, so I'm most likely going to have to relocate. But then also on top of that,
you still should apply. I'm interrupting. You still should apply. So you're not applying because there's not none out there, but a few. Apply to the few.
Well, I'm just not really too much of in a hurry for it. I'm still trying to build the resources for study GRC and so forth, and it just hasn't been a priority, to be honest.
I need you to apply to 3 jobs every day, sir. I'm gonna need to hear back from you.
That would take me like 5 hours.
No, I don't. I go on Indeed. You go on Indeed every day. It's gonna bring up what you're looking for. Their artificial intelligence is gonna know what you click on. It's gonna bring them up and just click 3 and you're good.
Nope, it doesn't work.
No, I would suggest for everyone in the group except PBO because he already got a job.
You got a job
as a vendor.
Go ahead.
No, UpGuard as a vendor. I applied in UpGuard. I rejected the job, but they offer remote solutions. Remote jobs. If you want to apply for that, they're like a third-party vendor assessment company. They got their own software and stuff. So you can work there. They provide remote positions, and it should work out. And the package is good as well. So if you want to try, do it. That goes for you as well, Caesar, because that's like purely third party job.
Which one again? Which one is the third party?
It's UpGuard. I'll write it down in the chat.
Please.
I don't know if they
Um,
have positions in the States, but they had some in Australia. I applied for it, but I rejected the job.
Why not? Well, I mean, why did you apply? You denied it. You
No
declined.
money. Money, man.
Oh, they don't pay enough? How much they were paying?
So in Australia, they were gonna pay about 120.
Is that US or
I don't know
Australian?
about
I don't even know what's is that US dollars or is that Australian dollars? I don't even know what
no, no,
Australian.
Australian dollars, 120. So it would be about like 90, 85, 90 package
Okay,
in the
okay.
States, probably.
And that's not a lot of money in Australia.
so that would be
I'm
equal
making
to
more,
about
yeah.
$80,000 in the US.
Men
It
been in
would
the
be
game
about
a little
85,
bit.
90. 85, 90 to be honest. Because it's a lot of work to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you said, your
Yeah.
foot have been in the door, then you can pivot in a year and go do something else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's like what PBO was trying to get me to do, go work for one of the big four, 7 days a week for the next 2
Facts,
years.
facts, man.
And
I need to talk to your wife, man. We need to
I'll
sign
be
off on that,
I'll
man.
be CISO in 2 years.
Facts, man. They're gonna burn you out, but you're
But
gonna get paid well. But when I take that back, they pay you well, but when you take the hours over, because your salary is probably $14 an hour, because they work about
yeah, I was gonna
60 hours a
say,
I
week.
don't think you're gonna be a really good CISO. Trust me. No, not at all. You have that thing for perfection. Either you're gonna die or you're gonna commit suicide.
Facts. That is true.
Yeah,
It took me
yeah,
years to figure that
yeah,
out, though. Don't let
yeah.
good get in the front of perfect. Don't let good get in the way of
Nah, man.
perfect. So
yeah, and that's actually one of the things I've talked about before is like I wouldn't even want to go for CISO at all. That is such a stressful position.
they ain't gonna last
I
long
don't
either.
I don't even understand why people want that position at all. Like
They
there
get
seems to be so many CISOs out there, and
they get
they just
paid
jump
well.
around.
They get
I
paid
don't think I've
well.
seen a I don't think I've seen like almost every CISO that I've come across on LinkedIn, almost all of them swap jobs every 16 months. Like
Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal. Because if
it's
And
anything
they're
happens,
crazy.
psychopaths.
you get blamed for it. It might not even be your fault.
Yeah.
If you hire a vendor and they do something, it's your fault. So
And how
that
much does a CISO get paid?
depends on
Come
the
on, man. You
size.
It all
already know your
varies.
LinkedIn.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
CISO.
I mean,
I
that's the
bet.
problem is that one job in Texas is going to be completely different pay,
Yeah,
up here in North Dakota. Like,
What's the
facts.
average?
it's really hard to say.
The
I mean,
crazy
that's why,
thing
like,
is,
at least I was going to say for IT, at least, I mean, entry level. I mean, you could literally be looking at like $50,000 entry level. So
For a CISO?
on the low end,
I'm not for a CISO,
CISO.
man.
No, a
I,
CISO. I'm asking what's the average for a CISO money?
probably 200. Once you
Yeah,
spread it
220
out.
something. Yeah,
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 once you put New
220.
York is the crazy thing is, as a consultant, I made more than the CISO at the state I worked for. So it just depends. Like I say, state doesn't pay anymore, but if you're a CISO for a large company like AWS, those guys probably make $500,000.
Damn.
I
So I
would
just
suggest
Googled.
become a CISO for Uber, so you can go to jail as well if they get breached.
But
Yeah, in 2018 they got breached. 2018.
everybody's getting breached though. So I mean, I don't
They
think
got breached
that's
and that dude he did
Yeah.
what? I think 11 or 18
In their
months.
job description, they should write if we get breached, then you get a benefit to go to jail as well. That's one of the benefits.
you can. But a lot of times, as long as you're
Three
not
free
negligent,
meals
you
a
won't go
day.
to jail. You won't go to jail. You get fired, but most times you won't go to jail. So that's why you don't want to be negligent.
And then basically when
Well,
a
and like
CISO gets fired, would his reputation go down the drain with it?
No, sometimes it
it
actually
I
goes
think
depends.
higher. It depends on how you got hacked.
I think
Yeah.
if I become a CISO, I would definitely commit suicide.
No, you'd be fine.
Um,
You'd be fine.
so I just Googled it here, and you're looking at an average in the United States for $251,000 a year, average
Huh,
across the board.
that's not bad.
So between 200,000 and 500,000 annually.
Not bad, man.
That's not bad.
So
That's top 8%, man.
Baby, start a company so we can all work
Uh,
together.
But
I
see,
tried.
like,
I tried that 20 years ago. It didn't go well. Go ahead, Chris. I tried it 20
I mean,
years ago.
a lot of the people that I see in CISO roles, they have, 10 plus years of experience.
Oh, you gotta have
A
a
lot of them,
decade. You gotta have a decade.
yeah, I've seen a lot of them. They come from like a system admin roles, networking roles, a lot from the IT side of things, and then they, go off and get like a business degree or something along those lines, and then move up the
Yeah.
chain.
Big Four
That's what I've
accounting.
seen.
Big Four accounting people. They come. A
Yep.
lot of those guys become CISOs, especially when you get to the
Yeah.
practice manager, because you're dealing with budgets. I really
Yeah.
didn't really start dealing with money probably till the last 2 or 3 years. I was in a room when you
Yeah.
start talking
And there's
money.
a little trend going on in Australia is that if you're like in an IT security lead role, they're not gonna bring up a CISO role or a manager role. They're just gonna say, we'll give you probably 150, 160, and you come in and make the strategy. You don't have to do budgeting, but you have to make up the strategy and
Hmm.
just understand the importance of security and build the
Hmm.
functionality. And they're not gonna do like a CISO role or anything, but as the lead, you're gonna run everything.
Yeah,
So
I've seen.
that's the new trend.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, and so like I read the book, so Gerald Gerald Auger with Simply Cyber went through and did an interview with the author. I forget his name off the bat for Phantom CISO. And that's exactly what he talks about is being a Phantom CISO and how, he just kind of got pushed into doing the CISO's job because the company didn't have a CISO but
Mhm.
his job description was exactly what the CISO is supposed to do. And what he calls it is Phantom CISO. So,
I see that with smaller
yeah.
companies a lot of times. You got a CIO, a vice president of IT, then they hire somebody
Mhm.
underneath them or one of their managers, like you said, take on that role. Because me as a consultant, my job was to advise that guy, right? So,
So PBO, that's exactly what's gonna happen to me. I'm gonna join a small company, get paid as a CISO. I call you, you advise me,
I
and then
got
I
you, man.
and then I have the CISO role.
So yeah, yeah, because too is that's where and we kind of talked about this. You start talking about zero trust architecture, right? Strategy, networking. How are you gonna do packet inspections, right? That's all the vision and high level stuff from a CISO and architecture role, right? The guys in the department levels implement that stuff, right, as part of a security strategy. So. Caesar's gonna be the Phantom CISO.
Oh, I thought he already was.
Nah, you're right.
Facts, facts. I'm gonna have to get on a phone call with Kay, man. So we're gonna have to chop it up.
That works.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like this is the book here, and like I went through this book just to learn more. I most certainly do not want to be CISO or otherwise. Primarily what I'm looking at is like the regulation side, compliance. I find that side
Hmm.
very fascinating. But uh, I mean, they talk about like the soft skills, the different
Hmm.
ways that you get into the industry and
Hmm.
ways that you can pivot around in the industry. Like there's still all kinds of useful information in here.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, a lot of it's on the business side of things. And so
That,
that's what I really liked about the book itself.
that's where a lot of IT people struggle, I see, is because when you come from pure technical and when you go over to that type of management role, you struggle with the soft skills, you struggle with budgets, you struggle with kind of vision. Right, because when you're a Cisco guy, right, you just set up the router, put the policies on, and it works. And I struggle with people. My first supervisory job went well. My second one, my team sucked, and I struggled. So, so I just decided not to go down that management route. Probably was a mistake in my life, but yeah.
Yeah, and I mean that's like why like that supply chain risk side, you know, um was so interesting to me is because I don't have the business side whatsoever. I have a much better understanding of the IT side of things, and the business side is a completely different realm. And so yeah, I mean
The weird thing is, because I started off as a programmer, and I didn't realize I was doing it, is when you interview people to write a program, you have to understand the business. So long story short, I worked for a developer that did shopping malls. So I'm in this meeting and I start quoting the things you need to do to build a shopping mall, right? Purchase land, soil samples. So I named out 20 things and everybody's staring at me like, how the hell do you know that? I'm like, well, I wrote the program, so I have to know it. So you start picking up business domains and you start working them with certain businesses. So that's how you, so after a while, once again, you just start picking up that technology when you stay in a certain business domain, be that HIPAA, pharmaceuticals. Once again, I did land acquisitions for about 3 or 4 years. Government, the IRS stuff, I did that for a decade. So you just start picking up the domain of that business once you start working in it for a while.
Yeah, and each business operates a little bit differently, is my understanding
100%.
too. But
100%.
yeah, no, I understand. So, but yeah. Are you going live?
I am not.
8:30, right?
I am not. I'm
What?
going to bed. I'm tired for some reason. I'm gonna get it going over the holiday weekend. It's a 3 day. I'm gonna start kicking it back up, but I am dragging. I've started
Come on, PBO.
my CISSP studying again. It's not going well. So I was taking some practice tests again. I was like, shit, I gotta get back on it.
Well, at least Mike has a video for that on LinkedIn Learning.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over that one. Then I had there's a guy online I like. He's pretty good. And a lot of people take his stuff. I'll put the link in there. He's super popular. I guess a lot of people pass using his videos. He does a lot of different certifications. So I've been I actually like him. He's got a book releasing out. So so I'll probably do him and Mike Chappell. I put him in the chat. So that's the addendum to the CISP. Since I took too long, they came out with the 2024 version. So, but I like that guy. He's got a
Inside Cloud and Security.
yeah. He does a whole bunch of different certifications, but I like him. So,
yeah, I'm gonna drop that link on YouTube as well. Yeah, it looks like he has some pretty good stuff actually. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, he's the guy I kind of been following. So I probably started listening to that every day.
Hey, Caesar, you should look at this guy's channel.
Yeah, he's got
Can you send it to me, please?
his CISP is I'm gonna say 12 hours long. I mean, it's pretty long.
Well,
It goes over every domain.
what's so special about this gentleman right here?
I just like him. I listen to his stuff, and it just kind of connected with me. You know, you listen to some people on YouTube, you're like, yeah. For me, I just kind of like how he did it. So I was like, okay, this is gonna be my guy.
Well, and I say that you should take a look at him because he's actively putting out a Sec Plus cram exam.
Yeah, he's better. And to be honest, I like him better than Chappell. I don't know why. I like him better than Mike Chappell on LinkedIn.
Oh, I see this. Okay.
So, but like I said, it's just I just something about him I like. Certain people you listen to you like more than others. So, and he gives these mnemonic things too, like.
I mean, it looks like really good content, but yeah. So like, here's his Sec Plus exam cram. I can go ahead and share that playlist directly with you too.
So, yeah.
But he just posted one just the other day, so he's actively working. Yeah, 12 hours ago he just posted domain 4.6. So
Yes,
and this is something you can listen to. Like you could see a lot of these are 30 to 45 minutes. There's a couple of them that are a couple hours long. Oh, he has the complete domain too.
Yeah.
So that's useful. So you don't have to watch the individual sections. You could just watch the complete domain. Like here's domain 2 complete.
1.2. Yeah, I see that right now.
What he does is if you're kind of stuck on the domain, you can kind of figure out which one you're kind of struggling with. You can listen to just that one.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
this would be really good for review, it looks like.
So yeah, I'm gonna do a seizure as I drive around. I'm just gonna be listening to that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No more
Man, what does
EPMD.
this guy not do?
Oh, he does them all, man.
CompTIA, ISC2, Microsoft, ISACA, and more.
He's got them all.
Jeez.
But yeah, like I said, I listen to him for the CISP, and I really, I don't know how I ran into him, but like I said, I really liked what he was doing. So
Yeah, and then the community's favorite 2 weeks
yeah,
ago.
I know I'm slacking, man. I have to get it together. I haven't
They're
even
gonna
done a
shut down your
show.
channel here soon.
They already did. They
They're gonna
demonetized me. Hurt my little feelings,
they're gonna
man.
archive you.
They stopped my $2 a day I was making, man. I'm upset, man. They shut down the $2 a day games.
They're gonna put a little label on your profile here that says, you know, retired.
I'm retired. So yeah. So yeah, I was looking into the Glibba. There's a couple things I was doing some research on.
Glibba, and then also there's that blog that
I was gonna do the
for
New
some of the
York.
policy stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna do
Yeah.
the New York DFR, which is I think the financial part privacy for New York. They're getting real
Yeah,
big
and I'll
on
send you
privacy.
this. I'll send you this blog directly too, just so that way you have it.
Good looking out for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start doing state stuff. I think I'm gonna start doing individual state privacy stuff.
Like the state privacy.
CCPA, New York's got one. Virginia just came out with some super AI privacy they're doing for Vermont, which I thought was weird. So I was gonna start
Wow.
picking up.
Okay.
Different states are kind of doing stuff. So
I'm still kind of curious if it's going to move to the route of a federal level law or regulation than state, because like all these individual states are still putting out their own, you know, privacy wise, and I'm honestly surprised that we don't have a federal regulation for that. Like HIPAA's federal.
yeah, I'm
So
surprised. I don't know why. And two is I would think NIST would champion something and the government would pick it up. Like the 853 or a CSF or some kind of that.
they have the privacy framework.
They do, but it doesn't seem to be getting pushed, like you said, from a federal level. It's from a
Right.
federal government work level, not a nationwide standard like HIPAA. Like HIPAA's like our hospital has to do it. So
Yeah, and see, that's actually one of the things I find interesting is because it's not their job to go through per se to develop the different frameworks for the public use. It's all free and everything else, but their primary source is the government. That's who their
100%.
client is.
100%.
And that looking at it from that perspective is actually pretty interesting. You know, they make the CSF for the government. They make,
Yep.
you know, the NIST. Mm-hmm.
For the government. No, 100%. I thought I was yawning. No, you're right.
Yeah, I find that part really fascinating to understand it that way, because then when you're going through the controls, I noticed it makes a lot more sense. Like something like the 853, like that doesn't really apply to very much. Like to apply the whole thing just doesn't make any sense at all. Like, why would you do this?
So
But
China's whooping up on us, man. I think we need more controls. I disagree vehemently, but I am.
oh yeah,
It's
think
a
it would
heavy
be great.
lift. It's a heavy lift now. I'm not disagreeing. It's a big boy lift.
Well, and so like I was going to mention earlier when you guys were talking about jobs is, I mean, quite honestly, one part too is the fact that I understand that most companies are not taking it serious enough, and you know it's not as like demanding as it should be, and that's also kind of a concern, to be honest, as well, is you know and then that's just the fact of the matter in the market. You know, they're doing it for a business purpose, and that's probably why I'm most likely going to end up on the government side, or like in a consulting fashion. Because like an internal audit, I don't think I could handle internal auditing very well. Like
Why not? Why not?
Because the company's worried about money, not compliance. Like,
Well,
I
that's
don't want
really
to.
that's separate. Well, it's separate from an
So
audit because you can say these are controls you need to do, right? From an audit standpoint, I think you can do what you need to do, but like you said, I've had a lot of managers saying, yeah, we're gonna eat that risk, right? So
Yeah.
from a management level, right? So
Well, and like to what extent are they able to do that? Because, like especially when you're looking at like regulations, like if I'm going into compliance for an example, like that doesn't really give them very much wiggle room. When they're looking at regulations and laws, there's not really much they could do about it.
that is false.
That's where like
That
I'm
is
sorry?
false. That is false. Now I know what you're saying, but in reality, man, I've seen people accept risks they had no business accepting.
Well,
Now,
so that's kind of like what I'm worried about in the industry is, like when you're looking at privacy, for an example, oh yeah, we have a member database of 1 million people,
mhm.
and we need to store this properly. Oh yeah, yeah, I have it on my Google Drive. Like,
Chris,
um,
Chris, I used to be this. I used to be the same way as you. Your job is to give them the risk. Don't take it personal, Chris. It's their risk to accept. As long as they cut my check, I don't give a shit what they do, Chris. Why you care, man? I gave you the
well,
risk, man. That's their job. And two, when I send you in that email, it's on your ass. I cover my butt. We should do this. If you say no and take some other risk, it's not on you, Chris. Just take your money and go home, man. Why don't overthink it, man.
oh no, I understand. I get that viewpoint. Um, However, I would still disagree because I think that's what's wrong with the industry, and that's
No,
why
Chris.
breaches keep occurring.
Don't disagree with me, Chris. My job is not to save the planet of breaches, but go ahead. I'm not the
Uh,
breach Superman, Chris. That's not my job. But go ahead. I hear what you say. I used to be that way 10
yeah,
years
no,
ago. I've just changed. I know exactly what you because I'm like you. It's like,
oh,
dude,
I
I'm telling you
understand.
what to do. Why are you setting negligence? Why are you doing this? Sometimes it's greed. Sometimes it is money. But
Yeah,
cybersecurity money is not infinite, Chris. Sometimes you got to make a decision and do it next year or the year after. But I know what you said.
yeah.
I'm just at the point
Well, and
is
I think,
I just want to take a trip. Go ahead, Chris.
yeah, I think that it's probably way more common from a newcomer like myself
Yeah, yeah.
to be in such a standpoint, and then after you're in industry, then you get a better idea for it. Like,
You get
this is the
jaded.
fact of the matter.
You get jaded after a while, Chris. Go ahead. You get
Yeah,
jaded.
yeah, and because I've talked to other people, who only have a few years or something like that, or otherwise, and they have a similar mindset and so
Mhm.
forth. But um, like that's the difficult part though, is because like I don't want to necessarily just like go off and collect a check. The problem is for me is, people's data is getting stolen and so forth. Like, uh,
Chris, I need to talk to your wife, man. Put your wife on the line. But go ahead, though. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. The
well,
baby's gotta eat. The future baby's gotta eat, man. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah. Uh, she wishes, yeah, yeah. Um, I don't know. It's just concerning. It's just like the daily cyber threat briefing through Simply Cyber,
Well,
watching it every single day
it's
really just gets concerning. Like it's the same thing every day with
I
different
mean,
companies. Like,
Chris, your
and then
data,
it's the
the
same.
data's already out there, Chris. I'm gonna let you go. Your data's already out there, man. I'm overthinking, but go ahead. The data's already
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
dark
yeah.
web. Go
I
ahead,
mean,
go.
if you use delete me, you
Mhm.
know what I'm. No, I'm just kidding. Free advertisement.
I actually did sign up for that for Delete Me. I thought it was actually kind of neat.
Well,
I don't I kind of I find it funny in the fact that like, oh yeah, we'll delete you from everywhere, but you have to give us everything about you.
facts,
Um, yeah,
facts.
because that's a little concerning, but okay. Um, yeah,
So if they
there's a
get
lot
bre
of limitations.
if they get breached, then you're effed up.
Nah, when what's that name of that? They got breached about 5 years ago, and it was like 60% of the United States in there. God, I
Mhm.
think they did
Well, and
the
that's
credit reporting.
Experian,
Oh,
I think it was, or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
no, it was Equifax. Was
Actual,
it?
okay,
Equifax.
It was
okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Equifax. Yeah,
Yeah,
that happened in
it's probably shit.
2014,
Hmm.
Yeah,
15.
they got half the
Yeah.
United States hacked. So
Yeah, they got hacked, and that was, man, I was reading about that. It was
yeah,
nuts.
so
Like that's something that I'm doing. I'm actually paying attention to Dr. Gerald Dozier about that, just so I can, when I start getting a job, I know they're gonna ask, so I have some knowledge.
yeah, that
Especially, especially in
says,
whatever industry I go. I'm definitely
yeah,
going to research so I can put something that's going to be related to X or Y industry.
yep, yep. Domain knowledge, like we just talked about.
Yeah,
Industry,
domain knowledge.
get your
I have
domain
another
knowledge.
question as well because I know yeah, Kate, she was talking about for the resume.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Chris actually put his 2 cents on it too for a one pager for resume. But I have seen people with like 2 or 3 pages.
Mm-hmm.
So
Is
what's
that a,
recommended in the system or in the industry, better yet, 1 page?
but I guess too, and that's why I told Kay she need to reach out to some people more qualified than me. To me, and it's nice. It's so condensed, it looks too light for me, right? Maybe because I'm a senior guy.
A one
So I
pager?
would, yeah, yeah.
That's what I thought, but I don't know. I don't know.
So,
That's
and just listening to Kay, it seems
Yeah.
like her background is much richer than a one pager. But once again, she needs to talk to some other people. When I look at it, that kind of jumped out to me.
do you know any recruiters?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, aren't we, me and you, Caesar, are gonna go up and do live mock interviews with
Hmm.
PBO and his recruiters, right?
Yeah, I can get, yeah, yeah, yeah,
PBO says yeah. I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
I,
don't.
I agree with PBO on that too. I think it depends.
It
I
just
think
looks,
the more senior role that you are, then the more that's going to end up on there. Like you can only
but
fit so much on one page.
and two
So
is, especially what y'all doing, man, y'all doing a lot of classes, a lot of certifications, a lot of labs. I think as a new person, you should list your labs and column labs. Like, okay, they don't have experience, but I see they're doing try me labs. I see they did a Active Directory lab. I see they did a penetration lab. Okay, what tools are they using a penetration lab, right? Because I think that kind of what tools you use should be um, specific to the job you're trying to get. So if you
Hey,
try to get a penetration job, show those tri-hackneys. If you're trying to get a compliance job,
I'm
show the
telling you.
hosers and different stuff. Go ahead, Sid. Go ahead.
I'm telling you. I know. Me, Chris, and a couple other people. We get on you with this a lot. But help us out in the sense, help us make a lab or a project.
Yeah,
Like
I've been
with your
talking about the
knowledge,
yeah.
I'm dead serious. Like right
No,
now,
you're
you
right.
have a lot of HIPAA information. You have a lot of HIPAA knowledge, or even IRS.
Yeah.
Like do something in that sort.
No, you're right.
Like
No, you're
make you
right.
can definitely put a class together or a
Hmm.
video together within a month. I'm dead serious.
No, you're right. You know,
P-
I'm not
hey
disagreeing with
Caesar,
Yes, sir.
I wanted to learn more about the sales and business side of it and everything else. So could you
No.
put together a course within the next 30
you.
days
He did put a
for
lot
me?
of pressure on me. Thanks for me, Chris. Good for back, Chris, back me.
I'm just
No,
messing with
no,
you.
but he uses he can definitely he has already the experience, something
Yeah,
that I don't have. He has the knowledge, something that I
yeah.
don't have.
I can tell you I
So
got close to that though. That procurement
AI,
video was close to that. That procurement
the
video I did
AI.
was pretty close. I'm not a big AI person though. I don't know if
So
I'm. Go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, like the AI part, I think that's going to be something that's going to keep coming out, but I think there's going to
Yeah.
be there's going to be larger advancements in the next few years. Like it's
Oh
still
yeah.
just rolling out.
Oh, it is.
Uh, yeah, and like regarding like the courses and everything else, like it would be great, but I mean, there's a reason why there's not much out there for it because it's not easy. Like
Oh,
that's one of the biggest issues is that it's all dependent on the company. So like even if we put together like a hands-on lab for a sales company using CSF, 2.0, the way that we do that and the way that the outcome is going to be different than any other company.
Of
Like
course,
the
yes,
process, the
it
high level view is the same,
yeah,
but it's
yeah.
different from one company to the
cor
next.
correct. This is like people, different aspect, different views, different
Hmm.
outcomes, different everything. And you and I, we might be selling the same exact thing, but your budget is different than mine's. Your views are different than mine's. My risk
Hmm.
is different than your risk. So I mean,
Facts.
that's all perspective. I get that when it comes down to that. But unfortunately, companies, jobs, they want to make sure that you have hands on. One
Facts.
lab,
Well,
maybe
and
two
like I
labs. Like I honestly think in me even looking at other people and asking other people, people have 3, 4, 5 labs in there to make sure that is one is repetitive for them And then the company sees that, oh, okay, this guy has labs. And that's why I was even going, talking to you about this is like, hey, we can do one in each domain in the sense we can do a HIPAA one, we can do a manufacturer one, and then we just choose what framework
Well,
we can do. And we can even do
yeah,
one with
and like I
mapping.
understand that part.
Shout out 37.
Yeah, and that's why I'm pulling up the 37 is like I've mentioned it before, is that like it doesn't take somebody like PBO to do a lab. I mean, like a lot of these people that I see and that I've talked to, they just go to the 37 and follow the steps because the
Right.
high level view, the process is the same, and then you just have to come up with the business info. And see, like that's where like the time comes in. Because like I would love a course from PBO, especially like a hands-on lab, you know, like in a cloud environment or something. But I mean, it takes a lot of time, and it's just like with the little CIS audit that we did do, the assessment that we did do, like that took a lot of time. I mean, you probably spent at least 10 hours in Excel completing that spreadsheet.
Yeah.
And so it's not easy. And then also like when you do a course, for an example, like if PBO were to go off and do a course, then he has to supply support for it. He has to keep it updated, you know, communicating with everybody. So like I completely understand where he's coming from it. But I think what would be mostly valuable to the community is to provide something that anybody can follow because the processes are the same. And
A
that's like where the
playbook
837 comes in.
is a playbook.
Is I think we need to come up with like a template for assessments.
I think I'm gonna do 37. I've never done a video on 37.
Do a
Really?
template.
Yeah, so
The
yeah, I
reason
mean the
why
more that I think about it.
we talked
Mhm.
about it. Organizationally defined after 800-53. The IRS does this part because you're talking about the impact of the CIA triangle. The IRS tells you it's moderate for their type of data because it's not life and death.
Yep.
Right. And they tell you these are the controls for their IRS part. So they kind of do the 37 for you. So I stay in that moderate data. So I just really take the IRS stuff and just kind of use it for usually whatever kind of government entity I'm using. So that's kind of why I've never done a 37 video once the IRS.
And I'll be honest with you, this is the first time I even see I never pulled up the 37.
Yeah, and so I think the best way that I was able to understand it was the 37 and then the 30 and then the 39. And it does sound a little bit backwards actually because I believe it's the 30 that is actually supposed to support the 39.
Can you explain everything basically what's 37 or so people understand what 37 is?
Yeah, so I'll pull that one up here. So like the 37 is what actually goes through for the life cycle for the RMF. And so it describes everything really, really well for it all. And so let's go ahead. And then here is the 30, which is for conducting risk assessments. And so like if you want to learn how to do, I'm sorry?
The 30 is 2012 though. That's my only issue with the 30. Go ahead.
But the process doesn't change. And see, that's the thing. That's why I think that it's so valuable is for somebody who's learning.
No, true.
I think it's great information. And so it is from 2012, but this is probably the best information you can find because there's not much out there. And this literally walks you through step by step, like how to do a risk assessment, what it is,
Can you go do it?
everything.
Like hit page 5 where it says risk assessment.
It's not a very big document either. So.
Yeah. So like the
Right
30 is
chapter 2.
95 pages in total.
That's not bad.
Which one did you want to go to?
Risk assessment is a 2.2.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So like risk assessment, step by step process. This publication focuses on risk assessment components of risk management, providing a step-by-step process for organizations on how to prepare for risk assessments, how to conduct risk assessments, how to communicate risk assessment results to key organizational personnel, and how to maintain the risk assessments over time. And so this is where, like, I think
develop an information
based on the people I've talked to, it seems like there's not enough people, at least the people I've talked to, who aren't willing to go through and read these documents. And like this one's 95 pages in total. So in all reality, to get the information, it's only going to be about half of it to actually get the information out. But what I'm saying is that we can, based on these documents, I consider these 3 documents to be like fundamentals to get started in like IT and compliance,
Yeah.
or for compliance and audit. Because it just gives you like all the basic information that you should know.
So where does it, can you take me where it says like process 1, do this for the assessment?
So it literally goes through, like they even have fancy diagrams and everything else from the start to the finish. And so the documents are outlined in order.
So
And
which
so
one
like
is like,
here's the 30.
okay.
Yeah, so like with the 30, chapter 1 is just going to be the introduction, but then like a risk management process. So this is explaining to you the process of risk management and how risk management works in organizations. Risk assessment, and it's literally walking you through step by step, like the different sections that you need to worry about and different things that you should be considering. Key risk concepts, these are different concepts that you need to be aware of. I mean, really, the risk approach, the risk model. I don't see risk appetite here. Process risk model. I guess that would fall under risk model.
Yeah, I think they call it something
Risk.
else.
Oh, here's risk tolerance.
Yeah, it's risk tolerance.
Yeah.
As we say, they call it something different.
Yep. And so,
So what is it, 30, 37, 39?
yeah. So the 37, the 30, and the 39. And so my understanding is that the 30 is supposed to support the 39. But at least in my head, I found it easier to go 37 to 30 to 39. Because the 39 is for managing information risk. And so I found it easier to learn about conducting risk for the actual RMF process, because the 37, it probably is the most thorough for the information.
So we could, Chris,
And
we can
then,
definitely, I'm sorry, so go ahead.
oh, you're fine. And yeah, so the point of me mentioning this part here is that like these, I've skimmed through the majority of these documents, and I think that this is a really, really good way to learn on how it really works and so forth, and the processes that are typically involved from a high level. And then you could apply this to pretty much everything. And like we
should
could go
definitely do
back
a
through these
project.
documents. Yeah, and so like what I'm considering, what I think would be most valuable is, instead of making like labs for a particular framework or otherwise, we can make a template like this is, the process on, how you can do a mock assessment. Like pick your framework, make a company. You're going to need, these titles, these people. We can give like an example or something, so that way anybody can take that and run with it, just as a community project. So, I think doing a template would be better than like an individual lab.
Yeah, I agree. And then after that, we'll just get the template, make sure it works, and we just do the lab. And if the lab works,
Yeah.
then we know it works.
I'm
I'm
actually
just, I'm
surprised
just
you haven't
kidding.
gone over the 37
No, to be honest with you, I
PBO.
haven't, man. Oh, I haven't.
I thought you
Like,
did, to be
no,
honest.
I knew it was. Oh, you're talking to PBO. Like I knew already that it was
Yeah.
there, but no.
I think you mentioned it in a couple of videos, but I don't know if you actually went over it. Oh yeah. Yeah, you did a video on the 30.
That's supply chain.
He talks about 830. The purpose of special publication 830 is to provide guidance.
Send me that link. I actually want to see that video.
Yeah.
I've probably seen it, but I want to see that again. I'll watch that tomorrow, actually.
Yeah, so you
Cybersecurity
did mention
contract.
the 30 and 39 right here for supply chain when you went over supply chain and risk assessment. You got so many videos, PBO, you're losing track. Oh, he had to go for a second. But I'm gonna drop this on YouTube as well. But I
Definitely
think doing
send it over
something like
here.
that would probably be the most useful for everybody.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm down. Right after I'm done with the project that we're doing right now for the Sec Plus. Right now I'm in let me see, I'm 4.6 actually out of 4.9.
yeah, and maybe I'll do some type of poll or something too, because I mean, this is something that we could do while we live stream. So we can go through these documents, like the 37, like I said, prepare, categorize, select, implement, assess, authorize, and
I'm
monitor.
I'm honestly down for that,
So
but that depends on everybody else as well, so everybody chip in. Kate, I mean, you're a little
yeah.
quiet. What you think about that?
No, this is good. I think they also have playbooks, don't they?
Yes,
Yeah.
based on like the industry playbooks.
Yeah. So if you go into NIST and particular risk management framework, they also have the playbooks.
Mhm. Yeah, let me pull that up.
But what do you
Uh,
think of going over basically like a Wednesday, let's say next Wednesday for example, just going
Hmm.
over a section in the NIST. Let's say we take 39, 30 or 37, I think Chris was talking about. Like
Hmm.
choose one of those and just literally dissect it.
That's a good idea.
I
Because
I'm
think
one
that
definitely
is
down for that. Hmm.
gonna be even for the people that are really doing it right now is gonna be a refresher or
Hmm.
reinforce what they know. And then for us that are not in the industry yet, that we want to get in the industry, is just
We're
gonna
learning. Hmm.
relearn and reinforce more. And if we
Hmm.
didn't know, then it's just gonna be
Right.
new info.
Right. No, I agree.
I
well, and I think doing it with the intent of making like a template for other people to follow. So we can go over those documents while we make a template for other people
Hmm.
to utilize, like just a high level view of how to make a mock assessment, basically.
Chris,
Right.
Um,
what order you think that should be done in? 37?
yeah, 37, 30, and 39.
I
That's
might.
that's the best way for me to understand it because like the 37 gives a really good overview of the process, and then the 30 is going to go through
I think I'm
and
gonna do.
define the risk assessments, and then you have information risk
Yeah,
after that.
because I think I'm gonna do videos on those. Because for some reason I don't think I've done any. Like I said, I just
Chris,
started
let's
Yeah,
with
you've mentioned
53.
them.
I mentioned them,
Yeah,
but I haven't done them. Like I said, I just usually do 53 and just
yeah,
start from there.
Chris, let's see if we can put something together for next Wednesday to see if we can do this. Because I mean it's interesting for at least from my end is interesting just because it's something that I'm gonna be end up doing regardless at work.
yeah,
And whoever's
yeah.
doing
Well,
this, like even Minmin, I know he knows a lot, but he's actually doing third party. There's
Yeah,
something that if he didn't know or he was not sure,
he's an ISO guy though, but it should be similar. But he does more ISO.
yeah. Oh yeah,
He's
because
yeah, I know what you
yeah.
were
he's
talking
in
about, Kay,
Australia.
but I'm
I haven't
not
seen those
finding it.
playbooks she's talking about. I've seen them for AI. I don't remember seeing them for the regular 53, but I don't know. It could be out there. I'm just so set in my ways. I
The good
just
old
kind of
fashioned way.
well, like we talked about, I usually just do them off the sticks, right? Instead of going because you go on the traditional top down. I usually go bottom up because half the time you come in there, like Min says, management's really not knowing what's happening. So I usually just start with the sticks and start with the technology individual teams and work up from there. So um,
Yeah. I've seen something on NIST regarding it before. So like with the RMF, they had like publications that they put out or some type of documents that they did based on industry. So like if you're in healthcare, you know,
yeah, oh
follow
yeah,
these.
6066, yeah. Those special publications. I guess I just since they didn't say playbook, I didn't think of them in. I've done the 66 of being HIPAA, 63-3 A, B, and B is identity management. So they have a ton of specialty stuff I've used before.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't guess I don't consider that a playbook, but um it is specialized in healthcare. So anytime I do anything on HIP or health and hospital, because I'm a NIST guy, I just use the 866. Um,
Yeah, and so like Caesar, like yeah, I mean stuff like this is like really useful too. So like if you wanted to do like a mock assessment for HIPAA, you know, literally this is
that's the
you know, the
blueprint.
the 66. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, this literally walks you through the process on implementing.
Then what I usually do, that's the implementation at the high level. Then I use 53 for the individual families. And I think they point to 53 when you start talking about, what you're doing for
Yeah.
access control, what you're doing for incident response, what you're doing for auditing.
Yeah,
right?
so then like after you go through like the 37, the 30, and the 39, you have a good high level view of the processes involved and what you need to look for and everything else. And then you can go through and do the implementation.
And two, after that, then the part we can talk about is the tailoring, right? Because each company is going to be a little different. So how you tailor it, once you get an understanding and how you start tailoring it for the particular company or agency.
Hey guys, I apologize. I'm gonna have to leave.
Oh yeah, we only been
Yeah.
going for 3 hours, man. Well, 2 hours.
Yeah, it's been about 2 hours. Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
go ahead and end it.
That's
Okay.
cool. That's cool, Caesar.
But yeah, we'll put some more thought into this and then
Definitely, because
get PBO's videos out.
I'm very interested on this type of stuff because it's something that I think is gonna help me in the day to day. I just need stuff that's gonna
facts.
help me in the day to day,
Facts.
just so I can
Yeah.
do my job.
No, facts. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do those 37, 30, and 39. I need to put that in the queue.
Perfect. Sounds like a plan. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end it here, and then we'll meet again next week on the 29th.
Okay,
So
enjoy
thank you
your
very
long
much for
weekend,
watching.
everyone.
Thank you very much, and
You as well.
congrats again.
Okay, thanks.